Hallelujah, and welcome to episode 51 of the Temple Bard podcast with me, Jim Wynn, and Philip Noon. Philip, transformation.
A lot of transformation this week, Jim.
A lot of transformation in general, but a lot of stuff this week. We've been thinking about, we found out that Pamela Anderson was with...
Liam Neeson. No, but I think that's the big one, because, I mean, the way I saw it was, in their prime, would Liam Neeson have looked at Pamela Anderson, or would Pamela Anderson have looked at Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
Like, they were probably two people whose worlds couldn't have been further apart.
You'd look at them from the outside as we are, and you would think that they would never be a couple that would get together. Because I remember, didn't Liam Neeson's wife die a few years ago? That was
Natasha Richardson.
Yeah, she passed away, and so it's nice to see him moving on. Pamela Anderson, we thought about it because Pamela Anderson, famously, if you're around our age or similar, you'll know that she was maybe the biggest sex symbol in the planet. Yeah, we always loved her. We all spent some intimate time with Pamela.
CJ.
Yeah, CJ. You know, she was a sex symbol idol, and So, but now she's gone down a different path where she's taken out all her implants. She doesn't wear makeup. She's embraced like the natural look. And we were just thinking about how people transform all the time. We all feel like every state is permanent, but we're also always in transformation.
If you look back at yourself even 3 years ago, you're so different now than you were 3 years ago. Everybody is. Do you know what I mean? Like, you always look at yourself after a period of time and you go, Jesus, I was different then.
Yeah. You know, it's like you're evolving. As we move along, we're evolving slowly. And that's why I think it's good to try not to judge people by... We tend to, like, generalize people by, you know, like we look at a celebrity and go, they did that, that's what they're like this. But everyone is different in any time or any perspective you look at them, you know?
But then there's celebrities who just keep doing it. We're not naming them again.
Yeah.
There are certain celebrities who just continue to act the bollocks.
Yeah.
And it just gets to the point where it's like, no, you can't be president.
Nothing is permanent. Like, nothing in life is permanent. Of course, our lives aren't permanent. The world is not permanent. Even something that seems permanent, like a mountain, is changing every second of the day. It's eroding, or it's growing, or tectonic. Even the sun is going to burn out. Nothing is permanent. So it's just, we're all in a constant state of evolution and transformation. And
as we said a few times, this too shall pass.
This too shall pass. Yeah.
So if you're going through a ringer, like if you're going through a shit one at the minute, like, you know, it'll be.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that today on something. Someone, was it you that sent me a video? Said no matter how bad it is now, I know that there's good times coming, and I think
I definitely didn't send you something that positive.
No, it was some. It was some. I mean, Eddie Hearn thing or something. I was talking about it. It was Eddie Hearn, I remember, and he was talking about, like, yeah, things are down now. It seems bad. Everything seems like it's going against us, but that's when you know there's better times coming.
Are we in the middle of a mass? No, I'm not being negative. I'm just being real here for a second. Are we in the middle of a massive downturn, do you think, at the minute? I'm noticing it everywhere. In terms of, I don't know, the economy. Like, I know Ireland has a load of money, but in people and in behaviour and in restaurants and businesses, I'm noticing it more. And I was actually speaking to someone about this the other day who works in a restaurant in Dublin, and they said on a Monday morning, they're empty. And he said pre-COVID, he said they used to be jammers from 9 o'clock in the morning for breakfast the whole way through. He said since COVID, it kind of slowly and he said on a Monday morning now they're empty.
Well, like everything else, the economy is in constant transformation. It goes in dips and things, and, you know, some people it's always going up. You know, that's the that's the kind of way that it's created. But do you feel? I'm just asking you. I think. Well, I don't know. I mean, it depends what you focus on. Like, you know, when we talk about, a lot of people will tell you now that you can't make money in the music industry anymore because it's streaming, and I would say you can look at it like that. I was thinking about this last night. You can look at it like that. Like, there's nobody signing multi-million-dollar record deals and making a living from selling records, but there is loads of people making a tiny amount of money off things. So, in a way, it's spread out more.
There's loads of people making a living.
No, there's people making a living, yeah, and there's more people making a living than ever before. And then but past that, even me, like I'm earning like I don't know $5 a year or something from my own songs. So it's like it's not like a living, but there was never like it used to be that you couldn't even get your music out there unless you had like paid for studio time, and then you had to get the distributors and all. So in a way, it's evened out the playing field. Now everyone's not making. There's not people making as many fortunes, but it's
the 1% or so. Like I think Oasis tour now is
I mean that's what I mean.
100 million.
That's what I mean. Yeah, but they're probably not. They're not making anything off records anymore. They're making streams, which isn't as much. It's a different economy. And even like now, when you say that there's a downturn, I believe we're at the start of a new economic.
Well, I'm not saying there's a downturn. I'm asking you because I don't know, but I kind of see. I kind of see like things are dipping a bit, just in terms, especially like in hospitality, in bars, restaurants. I know we've spoken before, like bars are different because a lot of people aren't drinking now. I'll tell you what I've noticed. A lot of people now in the Temple Bar area are coming into pubs trying to make a video and leave again without buying a drink.
Seen it, yeah.
So I remember a time where, that had happened maybe once or twice. Now, over the course of a gig, you've got like 10 to 20 people trying it. And when you're trying to run a bar and you're trying to like keep the madness of a bar and there's people just like coming in, making a video and leaving again, it does fuck up the kind of the flow and the ebb and the energy of the bar. Like when you're trying to get everybody, especially from the beginning, like let's say it starts off slow and it's not that busy. And then people are like coming in and you're like, okay, this is starting to fill up now and you're getting the crack going. And then they come in to make the video and then they just leave again. Everybody who's sitting there is like,
yeah,
are we full? Are we like, it does fuck up the vibe of the bar. Like it really does.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed people doing that, yeah, for sure. I feel like we're entering a new.
If you're coming in to make a video, buy a drink, buy a coffee, buy a tea, buy something.
Just tip the musician and leave.
I know, don't.
But no, I feel like we're entering a new economy. Like so AI is coming and it's coming in hot. And it's going to take a lot of jobs. It could already do a lot of jobs if people knew how to use it properly. I think we're in the beginning stages of learning how to use the prompts for it and stuff like that. So from that is going to come either a completely new economy that integrates people in AI, where people work less. But where the problem or the distortion is going to be, I feel, is when people have been so used to being charged for their time. And it's going to become to a place now where people's time is going to be more valuable for them personally, and you'll be able to do things a lot quicker than you would have been able to do before. So you have to be able to create an economy where people still earn a living and a living wage for less time worked, but maybe you're still working. So we just have to shift the paradigm from what we'd call living to work for working to live. And I feel like that's whether that takes a basic income, I don't know. That's what like the only thing I can think of now, but just because I haven't thought of it yet doesn't mean there's not. But something will come along. But there is a bit of uncertainty in the air about it all now, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's a transformation, It's always change is scary. It's like even the things like when you go through rough times, or it's the famous one is like when you're camping and it's miserable, and then you laugh about it later on, or you realize you learned something from. If you didn't go through a tragic or traumatic experience, you wouldn't have learned this lesson from it. What I always think about is I've constantly changed my whole life. I think I've been a different person maybe 10, 15 times throughout my whole life, whether that be music taste, friends, different things. But there's always that awareness. Like I tell you all the time that I have flashbacks to random moments in my life, and it's not a flashback to who I was at that time or who I thought I was. Like I'm not like a 5-year-old kid. My mum and dad used to call me Nuki. I'm not like thinking of Nuki being, thinking through my head. I'm just the awareness that I can see it happening. It's the same awareness I have now and I've always had. Okay. That's the only constant, I feel like. And that's the thing. That's the Godhead principle, if you listened to last week. That's before any of the masks. That's our, that awareness is the only permanent thing. I think that's like the observer. Everything else is just the drama.
Well, when you think of, just funny when you say Godhead, did you see who had their first gig this weekend? Their first ever live gig?
No.
Lewis Doyle singer.
Oh, did he?
Oh man,
Was it good? Did you see it?
All together now. On the stage, wearing a backwards paddy cap and a pair of sunglasses, but all the music, all the lights were really like, so all the lights were like, instead of lights being on him, the lights were on the crowd, like all the lasers and so he was there and you could make him out and you could make out his glasses and all. And he sang like, come out you black and tans, won't you fight me like a man? And he did his Raglan Road, his Grace, and that place was on skates. there was thousands of people at it.
Yeah.
And it was 1:30 in the day.
Yeah, it's a very Irish thing, you know. He's a legend. I actually saw his Black and Tans one. He did a dance version.
That was the one, and man, you'd want to see this live. Have a look at it later.
I commented on it. Got a lot of likes from saying, what did I say? I said it was a great take on a pop classic. I'd love to see some Black and Tan dancers at the live show. The Black and Dancers.
The Black and Dancers, but
you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man.
He did so he was like at the end of the song he was like, fight me like a man, and then he did shadow boxing and everybody just lost it. Like.
Deadly. Garen Newman's back as well.
Seen that? Yeah. Welcome back, Garen.
Welcome back, Garen. We missed you. I hope you had enjoyed the time away and blessed.
The old regroup.
Transformation though, you know. Again, like you probably when you went off, he's like, I'm sick of this, and then after a while, you just realize, oh no, I actually missed the parts I enjoyed about it, and you go back. It's the same with everything. Like it's
an old regroup.
It's a bit like going to the gym. Like a lot of the time, you're kind of dreading it, but once you're through it, you get the benefits. It's the same as doing the sauna, swimming in the sea, doing the cold plunge.
No, but if you take 2 weeks off the gym, it becomes nearly impossible to go back. You're like, I've lost everything.
Because you've switched the pattern.
Yeah, and you're like, but then you get back and you do it. You're like, okay, we go again.
I'm already worrying about me now in the next couple of days going off the weed that I've never been on because I'm already thinking
allegedly.
So I'm already thinking like the night's going to come and I'm going to be don't give in. But I know the way I've done it always is I'll have a good knees up. And then I'll be sick as a dog hungover the next day, and then I'll get.
Do you think you'll go through any withdrawals, Ram?
No, I never go through withdrawals. I don't smoke enough. I only smoke it 1 or 2 in the evening.
That's probably enough for withdrawals. 1 or 2 every day is probably enough for withdrawals.
Yeah, well, I don't notice any. The only withdrawal, like I just want to have a joint to be the withdrawals, but like it's just a habit. Like it's a habit, not like a physical need, or it's not like for me anyway. It's not like a physical need. There's like you're jonesing.
I know people who smoke like a good bit of weed and they get antsy then when they haven't got it.
Yeah, you definitely like you'll get a bit like antsy and a bit maybe what's the word? A bit narky or something, or a bit abrasive, maybe. But I'm not generally like that anyway. But my missus and baby are away at the moment, so it's just me and my daughter there, and she's always working or out somewhere. I don't see much of her, so I'll be kind of left to my own devices. Speaking of transformation, actually. Anyone who lives with a baby or a toddler will know that it's impossible to live in a clean house. It's fucking chaos. You clean up and it's just gone. And even in the best of times, me and my missus aren't the cleanest of people. We kind of leave clothes everywhere. So what I did the first day they left, I'd gone for 3 weeks, is I cleaned the entire place spotless. So now I'll have 3 weeks of a spotless home. And I know after a week, I'm going to miss it being chaos because that's another thing I remember from
having going around wrecking it.
Yeah, another thing I remembered from having older kids. You don't appreciate, like, it seems chaotic, and I'm like, fuck, this place is never clean. And then when they're all grown up and all their stuff's gone, you miss it, like. So it's all constant transformation, and the things that seem stressful now will be the things that make you stronger in the future. The things that you dislike now will be the things that you like in the future. Transformation. My dad used to bet us a fiver we couldn't eat a bit of blue cheese, or he used to let us taste his red wine, and these are all the things that I swore I'd always hate for the rest of my life, and now they're my favorite things now. Yeah, so the things that we hate are the things that we. It's a good reminder to try, even so if you tried something once or twice and decided I don't like that, maybe go back. Maybe I have to go back to cider, Philip. Maybe I have to try a cider.
Oh man, I was drinking cider recently.
Were you?
So I always drink Guinness. But there was one of the really hot days. I was like, I can't. And I got like a pint bottle of Bulmers, and I was 19 again. I was like, I got a pint bottle of Bulmers, and it was just, when I was 19, I was living in Portugal. I was singing out in a place called Praia da Rocha, in a bar called Ireland's Eye, and one of the best. That was the summer. That was the Madeleine McCann summer. That was the summer that she went missing down the road in Lagos. And I think I spoke about it in podcast before. Yeah. We were all brought in. Everybody was brought in for questioning in the area. Any expats were brought in, and everybody just had to say where they were, and they went and checked it and all.
That would be a good. I think we may or may not keep this in, but it would be good for you to tell that story, just so we have it all, that we can clip it in some way. You know, like just make it like a musician, like in.
So you see, yeah, but like I just.
Oh, you don't want to name any names.
And so I can tell it on the podcast now if we never clip it.
Okay. So
for anybody listening, I'll tell the story.
Okay, this is not going to be on the clips. So this is only for the people that listen to the podcast.
This is only for the people who listen to the podcast because I just don't want to clip this. I don't want to put it out into the. So basically, there was somebody else in Portugal at the time, not saying who the other person was, not with me. Just in Portugal in general, right?
Not Cristiano Ronaldo either.
Not Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh, let me tell you. Right, so I'm going to tell. Right, let's segue into this. Right, so there was this guy called Zeze Camarinha.
Right.
And they called him the play. You can Google him. They called him the Playboy of the Algarve. He slept with over 3,000 women.
Right.
This was his thing. He was like well into his 60s at this stage, but he'd still walk down the street with like 2 escorts every night, like, and him 60, the hair gel back, sunglasses on at 9 o'clock at night and all, right? He was mad. But he had this thing called Zeze Cafe, and in that cafe was like pictures of him and like a young Cristiano Ronaldo. This was 07, 08, like in the later years I was there. This was when Ronaldo was getting big. And so 06, but anyway, let me talk about Zeze Camarinha first. But his very famous slogan was, "You are very white. I put the cream. I put the cream." So I swear you can. We can clip this. We can clip this, right? So we can clip. We can clip Zeze Camarinha because you can Google this boy, and his slogan on his cafe, Zeze Cafe, was, "I put the cream." I swear. So what he used to do was, back in the 70s and the 80s, yeah, I'm telling this story because try and fucking sue us if you want. This is true. You can Google this. He used to go around the beach in Portugal in the early days, back in the 70s and 80s and all, when he was younger. Yeah. And he'd just go up to women and he'd go, "You are very white. I put the cream. I put the cream." And he put sun cream on their back, and then he'd end up bringing them whatever.
Once they felt the touch, they were all Zeze.
So he ended up. They called him the Playboy of the Algarve, Zeze Camarinha. You can Google him, and he went on TV shows and everything. But apparently, he slept with over 3,000 women, and it was all, "I put the cream. I put the cream."
So what we're saying is, all you need is a gimmick.
All you do, a slogan, and you're flying.
Ted Bundy used to say, "Here, me boat, me arm's broken. Can you help me with me boat?" All you need is a gimmick and a wheel brace.
Never underestimate the power of a gimmick and a wheel brace.
Stay bold.
Right. So here's the bit we're not clipping.
Right.
So I knew someone in the same area as me in Pride of Russia, and what happened was they were sleeping with someone that they shouldn't have been sleeping with, right? Yeah. Your man's missus was like a gangster, and the lad was sleeping with your man's missus. Sorry, not with your man. So that was grand. So when they asked, when I was questioned about my thing, there was a place called Babylon, and we were playing pool, and it was just basically, where were you? Where were you? Blah blah blah. I was in Babylon playing pool. They went, checked the CCTV, blah blah blah. You were grand. Everybody was grand, and that's the way it was. And there was just quite like everybody in the resort. Everybody was being questioned.
Just checking everyone's.
Yeah. Just like it was standard enough, and so that was grand. But another lad decided to say, because he was with your man's missus, he decided to say, "I was also in Babylon playing pool with Philip at that time," or whatever. So they check it up. I'm there. I'm staunch. They can't do anything to me, but he's not there.
Why is he lying?
So he becomes a person of interest in the Madeleine McCann disappearance, right? So
all for trying to pot the black ball, huh?
So basically, what happened was the police, whatever. So he had to tell them this. He had to come clean. He had to tell them everything. And they obviously know who this boy is, because your man owns a few places in the resort, and your man's a head the ball.
Yeah.
Like your man's a proper gangster. Like that's the thing about holiday resorts that a lot of people don't know. I've sang in holiday resorts for years. And what a lot of people don't know is, a lot of people do know, but people just turn a blind eye. That place where you're having your breakfast, or that nightclub you're having a drink, or that disco bar you're drinking in late in the evening.
That's a front.
There's a 70 to 80. Listen. There are some good bar owners, right?
Yeah.
But in the music game over the years, you're dealing with a lot of gangsters. Like you really are. Like some of them are just really good people, and some of them are great, and some of them are genuine bar owners.
Gangsters have feelings too.
No. But I mean, some of them are genuine bar owners, but a lot of it is mafia, and a lot of it is because you just can't walk into a holiday resort tomorrow and open a bar.
Yeah.
Well, you can in some places, but in most places, if you do, you're going to have an electrical fire in the middle of the night, and that's going to be the end of your brand new bar.
Yeah, going all legit. It's going to be like Yellowstone. Where they blow up the mountain and reroute the creek water.
So basically, he right. So he had to say to them, "Look, this is what I'm doing." Blah blah blah, and the police were like, "Okay." So now they have to bring her in to corroborate his story. So he's terrified in case she says no, because he's thinking
she's terrified in case he finds out.
That's it. So now everybody's terrified because she can't say yes in case her. So she comes in, and she basically says the whole lot, and they give her a fine. I don't know if it was a legit fine, and this like piece of paper on the dangers of speeding.
Okay.
So
they kind of
let her. They
put a front on it for her.
To basically get her out of trouble. They gave her like a piece of paper with like all this stuff like on the dangers.
Just in case your man asked why she was in there.
Yeah,
that's clever. And a lot of people get out about the Portuguese police over that case. That's a clever. See, they did him a solid anyway.
Yeah, they did. They definitely.
There was something about I mean, there's always something, but
that's for fans of the podcast because that would probably do well as a clip, and then
yeah,
and then your man's misses. Then your man will come looking for us.
burn down our bar. But yeah, we won't use it as a clip then. But it's an interesting behind the scenes story. Yeah, and transformation.
Of millions of behind the scenes stories. We have a lot of stuff that just can't be clipped. We do. There's especially in the job we've been in for years. There's
a lot of boldness that's not for social media.
There's lots of boldness.
But there's like transformation. Pride of Lewis actually went on had a big drop off. Then that was a huge holiday destination, and then after that case, they lost a fortune. Big recession. So it's like these factors. They come in and they change, they transform a place, a person, a society, a culture. So we live in a confusing time, and we're kind of always talking about the different hot button topics that we discuss in this country at the time. But my point of view is to try and find the love in or if you can't find the love in the moment, try and be the love in the moment. And that's my point of view. And everyone is entitled and has the free will to do their own. Have their own point of view on it. But remember, we're all in transformation. And it's something I see with a lot of people who are on the conspiracy rabbit holes now. I see myself in them. I find that we often get triggered by seeing our former selves, someone who hasn't evolved past a certain point we evolved past. Like if I see young lads on a train being little scumbags, it gives me a but then I forget that I was one of them. It's the same, and I always do this with me kids as well. If I feel like they're trying to manipulate me in some way, I project what I used to be doing. Like they'd be saying something about something about needing money for something, and I'd be thinking in my head when I used to say that I was going to use that money for drink. So I'm already putting that onto them, even though I don't know if that's what they're doing. It's just me. I'm just like, they're trying to manipulate me so they get money for drink. I'm just projecting myself onto them at that age, and I find that we're often hardest on people that we see the most of ourselves in. Just we're all in the same boat, but I try to be or see the love in the moment, and that's It sounds very cliche, or No.
It's not cliche. It's just your belief system.
Yeah, it's just my belief system. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'm trying to bring harmony. But another transformation. Actually, I saw Someone who I used to always listen to his podcast, but I haven't listened to in a long time, is Bill Burr.
Very funny.
Very funny. One of the funniest people you ever met. It's just such an angry, funny, one of those angry people. Like, he's funny when he's angry type people. And I listened to his podcast for years and thought it was very funny. He was always moaning about something, and, you know.
He's a crier, but he's a great crier.
Yeah, in a hilarious way. But he was on this podcast, and I hadn't seen him. I heard any of his stuff like in years. And he was just talking about how he's transformed, and now a lot of people say he's gone woke, but it's really that he's just he's evolved in his personal life, and he's seen the patterns he's doing, and he's noticed things, and he's evolved, and he's changing, and he's become a nicer person. He says his children have changed him. He says his outlook with his wife has changed him. He says as he's got older, he's realised the trauma that he went through as a child, and how he was taking that pattern and continuing it or pushing it away, or as he said, he was always telling himself that he didn't care. But he really did care.
Yeah. So, a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, well, you know, that doesn't matter, but they're still letting it affect them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot of people, they as I've said, we tend to make stories around things, or we attach to it, or we push it away. And that's what pushing it away is. I'm a big, I've always been a big pusher awayer of dark thoughts, or I used to be. Now I let them come. I sit with them uncomfortably and then let them pass as they will. But I found it very interesting because Bill Burr, to me, having not heard him in a few years, he was like nearly like a completely different person. He did mushrooms and stuff like this, and he was talking about how he was still moaning about billionaires now, and he was moaning about how political sides are both the same at extremes, very, very similar to what we talk about on this podcast. But I just found that he had a much more positive or.
I think mushrooms tend to do that, don't they? Like, isn't
well, it's for some people, for the people who say that got a good experience, yeah. People, yeah. I know people who've taken them and didn't like them and will never take them again. So
I know people who like where they're legal. So like in places, you know, in certain parts of America, they're legal. And I know people who just microdose them and take like small little amounts, and it just opens their creativity and makes them happier and makes them. They don't take enough that they could possibly go inward enough where they could have a bad trip and maybe see the devil and maybe see something in themselves that they don't want to see.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I've never had a bad experience, and I've found it very helpful for me, but that doesn't mean it's helpful for everybody. But it seemed to be helpful for Bill Burr, but what he was explaining was the guy that was interviewing him was saying to him that people now are saying that your comedy's gone woke, and he was saying how he understands that. He wasn't trying to fight against the people who said that about him. He was saying he understands that.
I'd be in total agreement.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. So he was saying, I'm not gone anyway. I'm just, people liked me a certain way that they knew, and now I've changed a bit as I evolved myself. So he's not doing it like he's not doing it as a political statement. He's just doing it because he's changing himself. He's changing himself, yeah. But he was able to understand that that's what people saw, and he doesn't mind that. And then your man was saying, now a lot of liberal people are starting to like him. And he goes, no, I'm not doing it. He started talking shit about the liberal people and what all the problems they have and all this. He was saying, I don't want to be put into one of these boxes. Like, that's not I'm not picking a side. Like, I'm just evolving to try and be a more caring person, and whatever form that takes to you is your own business. If you want to say he's gone woke or you don't like his comedy like that anymore, then that's your choice. But I thought so. The transformation in him was something because I hadn't seen him in a few years that I noticed from his podcast. And even at the end of this podcast, your man asked him to do like to give a Mount Rushmore of drummers, a Mount Rushmore of actors, and a Mount Rushmore of comedians, like four best of each. And he went on for about 40 minutes talking about all his favorite actors, comedians, and it was really lovely, like, to see him so grateful. And yeah, so it was
it's a Monday morning thing he does or something, isn't it?
That's for his podcast.
Yeah.
This was on someone else's podcast. It was a comedy podcast. I'd never seen it before. Your man who hosted, I don't know, I can't remember what it is, but he spoke for about an hour and 25 minutes.
Good stuff.
But yeah, no, it was a good one, and I haven't listened to his podcast anymore. I'm not really listening to any podcast at the moment, but apart from the Temple Bard podcast,
I'm listening to loads. I loved them.
Philip's listening to them all.
We have a big guest coming, folks.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week. It was supposed to be today, but just the way schedules and everything went.
Yeah.
That
was yesterday.
Oh God.
Philip thinks it's Saturday still.
Did you know what I was thinking there when I looked at my watch? I was like, you've just missed a wedding day too.
Yeah. So I did a wedding yesterday. We were supposed to have the guest here yesterday, but I had to do a wedding and then another gig. So we had to try and get it earlier, and we couldn't make it happen. But Philip just thought it was.
Yeah,
Philip thought it was Saturday
I'm
today.
after panicking there. I was like, oh.
I wouldn't have forgotten something like that.
Yeah, so we were supposed to have him yesterday, but unfortunately, he was doing a show in Dublin last night, and unfortunately, we just couldn't. So hopefully, we'll reschedule it for sometime this week or next week.
Hopefully in the next
week.
week.
We're really looking forward to having him on. Big voice, big presence, very funny. He has everything.
Yeah,
he has everything.
Yeah.
He's not a singer. He just has a big voice, some big opinions.
An influencer, you'd probably say.
Yeah, well, he has like 500,000 followers or something. Yeah,
an influencer.
A lot of people listen to him, definitely.
No label on him, but definitely a big one. And, for someone like me who doesn't really follow the social media that much, I knew who he was.
Yeah.
So that's saying a lot.
It's not Garen.
It's not Garen, but Garen's coming soon, hopefully.
Just
get on to him.
He just doesn't know that.
Instead of trolling him and giving him abuse, tell him he should go on the Temple Bar podcast.
Yeah, tell him to come on.
And give him green hearts and smiles.
Tell him to come on and have the crack.
So, transformation. We're constantly changing. You just remind me, transformation. A huge moment in my life was when I was a kid. I was into Transformers. It was one of my earliest memories of being into something.
Right.
Was Transformers, and I had all these different Transformers. And there was a green one. It was a green Transformer of some description. And when I was in school, I was in senior infants, I think, and one of the bigger kids came and took me Transformer and stole it, and I didn't know who he was. It was my first day of school, I think, or second day.
That's fairly traumatic.
And it was traumatic to me at the time.
No, but it is.
But but what happened was my ma went on to Joe Duffy or Gay Byrne or someone in the radio. And there was it went, I don't know.
No way.
Yeah. And said, everyone, because she couldn't get another one of these green Transformers.
A Turbo Man.
Whatever it was, yeah. It was like that. And I eventually got one, I think. Someone sold one that had one. It was a bit like that story. And I remember for a lot of years I thought about, and the green, if you think about in terms of energy center colours in the spiritual sense, the green is the heart colour. And I feel like the metaphor there for me was in a way that was the moment as my ego was growing as I closed my heart because I saw negative, or my green was taken, and I opened myself to judgment, and that transformed me into and I think I've been trying to open that heart ever since. If
you're out there and you robbed Jim's Transformer.
Yeah, let me thank you, because you play the perfect role. A lot of times when I was younger, I would have said that was a traumatic moment, that kid ruined me, or that kid bullied me or something. But I realise now, looking back, that was a pivotal moment that gave me
Get in touch with me, and I'll pay big money for that. And I'll keep it and I'll keep it in my gaff right beside me limited edition RoboCop. I'll have RoboCop on one side and Jim's Transformer the other side,
sending me ransom notes.
And I'll let him over to look at it every now and again, but he's not bringing it home with him. Be like, don't you dare take that off the mantelpiece.
You've been an esteemed company beside little baby RoboCop. But yeah, that was an interesting. That was the last thing I taught before I got here about transforming and transformation.
That's mad.
Yeah. So that would
bastard robbed your life.
In my little story, it's a good metaphor for how my heart was closed, and that tension,
that started it.
Yeah, it could have been the start of it. Like I always feel, I I keep going back to earlier things that I remember having that tension. But that could have been a start to it, and I believe I'm on a journey now at the minute to release that tension and open up that heart and to see the world as perfect as it is.
But get in touch. Big bucks.
But get in touch.
Big bucks if you've got that green Transformer.
Yeah, it's probably worth a lot of money now because it would have been one of the original ones.
Yeah, it'd be worth a fortune.
It wasn't in its box though. It was well played with.
RoboCop's in its box.
Yeah, RoboCop. Philip's one of these adult toy collectors.
I've got a Funko Pop original RoboCop number 21. It's a very valuable one. Yeah. I got it as a present, but it's
it'll be when your boy dies.
When Peter Weller dies.
That'll be when it's big bucks. But that'll be the transformation. Just as he transformed into RoboCop, soon he will transform back into spirit, like we all will, Philip.
And when he dies, if they don't turn him into RoboCop, I'd be very disappointed.
Yeah, they should. If they should ask Elon to get onto that.
Fact. But yeah.
So we wish you all the best on your journey of transformation. We're all headed to the same place in the end. But for now, let's accept each other as we are. That's it for episode 51 of the Temple Bard podcast.
Stay bold. Sláinte.